Are we live?
Live na ba?
Yes, we are. I can see the live thing. For now.
Hello.
I think we're good.
Hello!
Sawadika.
Hi guys. Here we go again.
Hello.
Happy
Hi,
Friday!
hi.
Happy Friday.
Happy
Happy
Friday!
Friday.
Happy Friday.
Friday.
So,
Okay.
what are we doing today?
Yes, hello and good evening once again, and happy Friday to our beloved peace. We are once again BBS or Bruja Happy BL Squad, and we are comprised of Pianch, P
Yes.
Mark, P Maya, myself, P P. Mike,
Wadi.
Pinito,
Odi.
and P. Patty.
Sorry ka.
Yes, so we are again combined together with our joint love for BL because it kept us sane during the quarantine, and we are doing our weekly reviews to give back our love to our beloved boys. So, yes, because we love them so much. So, to give an intro on what we are going to review or talk about this week, we have sino ba? Si Patty, Ange, and Mark.
Sige, ako na lang muna. Go ahead. Okay. So, for our review today, it's Theory of Love. This is actually the second BL series I've watched. I decided to watch it because, well, I'm a sucker for friend zone stories. Then, it's about a third who has been secretly in love with his best friend, Kai. Then third wasn't brave enough to confess his feelings because well, their friendship is on the line. Then Kai, on the other hand, is your typical jackass who is parang a womanizer and has no idea about Kai's feelings. So the conflict begins when both start seeing each other's feelings. So it's sort of, for me, a reminiscent of Marvin Jolina movies back then. If you guys would watch those,
Uy,
that's how I
napaghahanap
would
ka.
describe it.
Hindi ko naabutan yun.
Ay, gano'n.
Sino yun? Sino yun?
So, there. Si Patty. I'll turn
Okay.
over.
So, actually,
Oh, we have
si
Camille
Ange yung
next.
nag-push sa akin to start watching Theory of Love.
Yes,
Ay,
Patty. Naghang yata siya.
Nag-stuck si Patty. Nag-stuck si Camille Prats.
Oh, si Camille Prats! Yes!
Ano?
Wala din si Patty, oh.
Nako, paano yan?
Sige, balikan natin. Si Mark siguro? Hello?
Mark,
Hindi kaya ata
naririnig ba tayo ni Mark?
Hello, Mark.
Mark, ikaw daw muna sumalo kay Patty.
Ayan. Hindi yata.
Hello?
Hello.
Ako? Ay, sorry.
Yeah.
Ayan. Actually, yeah, I can. Hello.
Okay.
Hi. Hello. Narinig niyo ba ako?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Theory of Love is actually it's a story. It's a story for Hello.
Hello, yes.
May mga technical difficulties tayo, no?
Can you hear
Okay
me?
tayo?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sige. Theory of Love is a story. Yeah, okay, sige. Hello, what's happening?
Oh my gosh, wala ako.
Nawawala yata si Mark.
Ako na.
Mamalay.
Okay, Patty, go.
Sige, si Patty na lang.
Bigla ako nawala, naloka ako.
Ayan. You were saying something,
Okay, so
Patty.
actually, yes, okay. So earlier, what really pushed me to watch Theory of Love was actually Ange. Kasi nauna niyang panoorin ito sa akin. So I was asking her, how was Theory of Love? Parang she was telling me na to watch it kasi she's really a sucker for yung mga friends to lovers trope na stories. And then another motivation for me to start watching it was Off Gun kasi napanood ko na right when Chris Singto Tainu. So Off Gun is missing, 'di ba? So yun. Tapos overall, medyo natagalan ako dun sa pacing, especially for the first 6 episodes. It took some time for me to actually absorb everything in. And then I started, parang nag-start siyang mag-catch up sa akin around episode 7 nung nag-change na nung point of view. And at the same time, when Kai started to realize his feelings for third. So, yun. Marami pa akong hanash, pero later na yun.
Later na.
Okay, sige. Ayan.
Ayan.
Or itutuloy ko na ba? O
And
mamaya
then si
na.
Mark is back.
Si Mark,
Mark, okay na tayo.
Hi,
Mark.
sorry.
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So did you want to add something, or do we go on to our first category? Whoa.
First agenda of the meeting.
Sige, first agenda na siguro.
Category. Well, siguro as an overview, Theory of Love is a story. Sige.
Uy, conscious.
Okay, go.
Okay.
Go na, go.
Siguro sige, I think ako rin, I want to share something as well. I think overall, Theory of Love is all about unrequited love. I mean, it's about all of the aspects of it. Sometimes the beginning of it, and sometimes the resolution of it as well. So if you think about it, parang there are characters who have unrequited love for people that they are interested in. For example, the main character. Diba? So si Gun, or si Third, he had feelings for Kai, and Kai was not aware of it. And then towards the latter part of the story, it was then Kai who had feelings for Third, and then Third was being unrequited, if that's the word, or hindi sinusukli yung nararamdaman ni Kai. And then we have Bone as well, one of the other main characters. So he had an unrequited love for the tutor, for the teacher. And also we have An, who had an interest in Tu, and Tu was not aware of it, so that was also a form of unrequited love. So to each his own, kumbaga. And there were moments wherein that unrequited love remained as unrequited love, but there was a moment in time as well wherein it all came to fruition at the very end. So I think it's all about how do people deal with unrequited love? How do they manage it? And basically, ano yung mga maaaring kahantungan if there is such a thing as unrequited love? And I think one of the reasons why this is a very popular series is because at one point or another in our lives, we all have been there. Now we've all liked someone or pined after someone, and that person was not acknowledging that, or wasn't aware of it, or maybe didn't feel the same way. So I guess that's why may resonance talaga tong series na to for a lot of people. And I have more to say, but later on.
Okay, I think we're good. No, we're cool. So yeah, we can start with the usual. How do we start with our review? Of course, we start with the plot and the character development. So, ano ba yung nag-transpire in the entire series? How did you find the story? How did you find the characters? Did these all make sense?
Yan.
Sige, I start.
Go!
Okay. Go, Patty.
Okay. So as I've mentioned earlier, parang feeling ko the first 6 episodes were really slow for me. Kasi lagi na lang umiiyak si Third, lagi na lang iniiyakan si Kai being an asshole, Kai being a womanizer, and all that. So, nakakainis talaga siya. As in, parang I was telling Anna, parang, tutuloy ko pa ba ito? Nakakairit na silang dalawa, ha? So, yun. Pero, sabi niya, it's worth it. Sige, tuloy mo lang, panoorin mo, ganyan. And then, yun nga, when I reached the end of episode 6, tapos yung nag-shift na yung point of view, kasi the first 6 episodes were told in Third's point of view. So, this time around, no, episode 7, nag-shift siya to Kai's point of view. And doon nakita natin na yung development ng feelings din ni Kai kay Third. And at the same time, ang ganda lang to see how his mind works, diba? And
Right.
then, yun nga. So, from then, nag-catch up na siya sa akin. And then, ano pa ba? In terms of character development, I love how there was so much development in Kai's character. Kasi he started as being an asshole, being a womanizer, and then eventually, nakita natin yung development niya nung nag-start ng ma-feel niya yung feelings niya for Kai, ma-realize niya yun, sorry, for third, nung ma-realize niya yun, and then, ayun na, parang slowly nagbabago na siya, natututunan na niya how to love. Kasi 'di ba, I remember there was a line there, may batuhan sila ng lines na parang hindi mo naman talaga alam kung paano magmahal, blah 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 and all that. And I think nakita natin yung transformation ng character ni Kai from being an asshole to being someone who cares for others. Yeah, for others' feelings. Yun lang. Tapos later na yung iba.
Ako,
I would
when I
have to
go
agree
next
with
after
Patty.
Patty, I
Oh,
Sige, go, go, go.
Okay, go.
Go,
I
Ange.
have the same feeling. So,
sorry.
sorry.
Hello, and sorry.
Yeah.
Before anything else, we'd like to siguro show a comment from one of our viewers. It's John Oliver and Theodore.
Hi, SD.
Hi. So
Hello.
he was
Sorry.
agreeing with Patty a while ago. Sabi niya, agree ako na pagalit ako sa first 6 episodes. I almost gave up. No. And so,
Good thing you
for
did
those-
it.
yeah. So for those of you who'd like to comment, this is a very interactive review. No? So please put in your comments, comment section, and then if you agree, if you disagree, please feel free to share your insights. Thank you so much, John.
Nice,
Thank you.
Ali.
Mr. Ali din
Hi,
pala yun.
Francis.
Hi there.
I love you.
Okay, go ahead, Ange.
Go, Ange.
Okay, yeah, so I actually
Ali,
agree with
hello.
Patty then.
Happy watching, Sir Ali.
Hello. So, yeah, to be honest, at first lang, I didn't like Theory of Love. After watching episodes 1 to 6, I guess I switched to Thorn type because I got bored, sorry. So, the first few episodes for me are just basically about Kai being a total ass to third, even just as a friend. Then, I sympathized with third, but after a few more episodes, I guess I also got a bit annoyed about his character. Kasi parang,
Mm.
well, parang he seemed so parang hopeless lang and so dramatic. Was always crying sa banyo. Then,
Mhm.
parang it came to a point sa akin na parang, girl, just go after someone else or be alone, I don't know. So, yan
True.
ako. But, when I decided to watch again, um, I think in episode 7 or basta when Kai was falling for third already, like what Patty mentioned. So his character started to grow on me. And then parang yung sympathy ko actually nag-shift kay Kai because
Okay.
he was so consistent in terms of pursuing third. And then parang there were also well, they also have these cute and sweet moments that I super like. So, yeah. Um, and then, so parang in general, in all, I love how even if you really hated this character or Kai specifically, um, parang in the end you couldn't pa rin because they showed how Kai was truly regretting his past actions and the things he did weren't really with bad intentions naman. So that's what
Right.
I like. So yeah, and I super loved the last 2 episodes. I was really satisfied with
Yes.
the ending and the character development. So, parang yung emotional roller coaster ko sa series na to is the total opposite. Yeah, parang I hated it at first, but I loved the ending. So there.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's
Where can
my
I go next?
yes.
Okay, so I wanna pick up on where the two ladies left off, or maybe in addition na lang talaga, diba? So, I think I agree. Well, I agree naman talaga. the first few episodes were from a third's perspective, and then the other half would be in third's perspective. Diba? So parang nag-turn yung tables, diba? When that happened. So we get a glimpse of what they think and how they're feeling and what goes on in their heads. Pero I think in terms of plot development, maganda naman yung progression niya. I'm just missing perhaps the natural progression of how Kai developed his feelings towards third. Kasi parang it was a bit sudden for me. Like, parang the next episode, he realizes na mahal niya na pala si Kai. Ano ba yun? I mean si third, di ba?
On the beach. It's the beach that solves everything.
Correct, di ba? Pumunta lang siya sa beach, kinusap niya lang yung friend niya. Tapos parang, mahal ka na nga pala talaga to, di ba? And then he pursues the guy with a vengeance, di ba? So parang hindi na-build yung character niya to that point na kailangan niyang i-pursue ng ganito relentlessly. Diba? Parang hindi ganun na, hindi na itawid smoothly for me. So I thought that could have done with a bit more tinkering or maybe a bit more focus in that sense. Diba? Now, in terms of, maybe this is not really plot development, but in terms of how the episodes were laid out, parang each episode was actually thematic, diba? Parang the whole theme of the series was movies, diba? So parang each episode would have a movie tied to it, diba? And then there would be something happening in that episode wherein, I mean, it develops the story, but there would be something happening in that episode that has a movie reference to it, diba? So I think that's very interesting. So intertwined in the plot are references from all these other classic movies, which make it all the more parang relatable and rich, diba? So I like that it was built into the progression and into the story. In terms of the characters, I think a lot of you guys will talk about the main characters, but I also want to spin off a little bit into the sub characters or the supporting characters. Like, I think Afghan's character was given its highlight because they are the main couple. I would have liked to have seen more of Earth and White because I thought it was a good story as well, diba? So parang may revelation pala na si Anne pala si White. And then yung development doon hindi masyadong nangyari kasi nga they were focusing on the main characters. And also, I think medyo half-baked rin yung development ng love story nila.
Yeah,
diba?
I agree.
Tapos towards the end, in fact, I think it was the last 2 episodes wherein it does a time jump. So I think hindi rin natin fully na-enjoy yung feeling of yung first few months nila as a couple, di ba? Yung parang yung getting to know each other as a couple na phase. Kasi yun nga, biglang time jump siya at the end of the series. So that's why we didn't get to delve too much into the other supporting characters' roles. But I think that would have been nice if we had done that. Kasi I think maganda yung character ni Anne at saka yung character ni Tu, who also is so parang a womanizer talaga, no? Except for for third. And then at some point in time, they encounter someone who makes them change their thinking or their perspective. Also with characters, I like na yung mga friends ni, iba apat sila, yung parang yung mga gangsta. si Kai, si Third, si Tu, at saka si Bone, di ba? So when actually, first instance, when Tu realized na Third had feelings for Kai, he just went ahead and asked, di ba? Parang, do you have feelings for Kai? Are you interested in Kai? And then when Third said yes, parang wala man lang na parang, hindi nga talaga, wag ganun, wala. Parang, okay, sige, so anong gagawin mo? Parang gano'n, di ba? Parang natural lang. And I like that it was treated that way. It was treated in a sense, just like any other relationship. It was treated just like any other event. It was treated just like any other problem. Di ba? Parang no different from a straight person's problem or from a cisgender problem. It was just a problem in a relationship. Tapos when Kai naman admitted to his friends na he now has feelings for Third, sila rin, ano ngayon gagawin mo? Diba? Parang kaibigan mo yan. So, paano ma-ensure na Diba? Parang, I will pursue him. Parang, without batting an eyelash, without skipping a beat, parang tinanggap lang nila. And I really
Right.
like that about that support or the supporting cast. Right? What else? I think in terms of, I'm going to Bone naman ngayon. In terms of Bone, di ba, unrequited love na yun na mention ko kanina. So I think that one of his storyline was also pretty good because instead of capitalizing on, there was this one scene kasi na Pan, the girl, felt really down because she discovered something about her fiance and then she got drunk and he was there. I mean, he could have easily taken advantage of that opportunity, diba?
Right.
Just like a lot of BL series do, pag lasing, pag may alak, may balak. But he
May
didn't. He took the
Right.
high ground. He was the better man. Diba? Parang he just made sure that she went home safe and sound and untouched and pure. And then at the end of the series, he even helped them resolve their problems.
Better
Diba? Rather than capitalizing on the opportunity, para no, para sinabi niya na mas importante yung happiness niya kaysa sa happiness mo. And I think that's also one of the things that I saw in this series. Um, yeah, I guess that's it for now.
Okay, before let's engage some of the viewers. So let's start off with shout out muna kay Lance Lucas, and this is in relation to what, and Lance is a friend, so this is in relation to what Mike said. No, though with the supporting characters, I think the direction they moved was telling the stories from the two narrators, so we don't see what everything happens in other people's lives. But that's one perspective. We're doing the review naman, no? Basically from different perspectives. This is what's beautiful about our channel, okay, our group, because we take different perspectives from different people. So thanks so much for that, because this is a review from the viewers and fans' perspective. That's a good insight. We also have one insight in relation to what Mike shared also. Yan. Dahil mo discuss marami kang comments kayo, Mikey. Ayan.
Okay lang, okay lang. Okay lang.
And from ST, no? This is ST. Ayan. So,
Yes, ST.
yan, feeling ko, di na kailangan yung story ni White Earth. Tendency kasi yan ng mga ng IDLs wherein ang daming ship isang ship ka sasakay.
Yes, that's true. No, I think there are BL series that are able to, I think, balance all the different relationships and all the different paths or parang couples. But yeah, I think there are series as well that overdo it. Na parang they want to cram too many
Forced
ships.
ka, yeah.
Diba? So parang nagkakagulo na masyado. And yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect.
And
Ang ganda
happy.
ng discussion natin, no? And let's engage more viewers. To all the 9 viewers out there, please don't be scared of commenting. We're open to your comments because we are a collective group basically, no? So kami mismo dito, we have different perspectives, no? We are open to these different insights, no? And so, who would like to go next?
I'll agree with Lance. Actually, may point siya na I think the focus was too much on third guy. That's why nawala nga, hindi nabigyan ng justice yung other couples like Earth Wife. So I guess that's a trade-off. Unlike Dark Blue case where they made the two of those stories parallel. So for this episode, for this series, it wasn't like this. So yun. And then my feelings naman about the overall flow of the story. It's really like a roller coaster. I also agree with Ange. It's actually exactly how I will describe it. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. But feeling ko it's actually one of the scenes that made me felt a lot of feelings all throughout the show. Probably in one episode. And also in effect, your feelings toward each character would also change in as the story progresses, diba? So parang at one point you're sympathizing with Third, and then after a few more episodes you'll get angry at him, and then after a few more episodes you're annoyed and then the other way around for Kai, diba? Na at first you're super duper angry at him, you're annoyed, and then you'll be transformed to a very engaged viewer towards him. So yun. But regardless, even if it was a roller coaster, I think that the journey was worth it towards the ending because roller coaster really ended at a good note at the end, diba? Na parang, even if the relationships did not work out for all couples, diba? Parang the ending was so worth it, diba? Parang it was so kilig, diba? And it was also so fulfilling. So even if there were a lot of emotions for you to process throughout the show, it was worth it for me.
Wait, Maya, since you mentioned, no, there are instances wherein I wasn't really sure how I would feel about something. Kasi for example, at the very beginning, one of the first few scenes or episodes, si Third, di ba, parang masyadong apektado siya sa ginagawa ni Kyle. Yung parang masyado niyang dinaramdam that he does these parang cold shower things, di ba? Pero, so parang at one point, parang I felt really sad for him. But then, later on, nung nagpaan yung camera, pinakita na yung hawak niya pala, water bottle. Tapos parang, ginagawa niya. So I was like, am I supposed to? I don't know how to feel about it. Was it a joke? Diba? Parang, so yun nga. Parang, I didn't know how to feel about that scene. Parang, was I supposed to laugh?
You'll feel his emotions eh. Tapos nung paulit-ulit na emote siya sa banyo. Parang, tama na, girl!
Correct.
Oo, diba? Na parang at some point,
I was feeling somehow na parang, this is unhealthy na, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I was feeling na parang, baka psychosis na to, baka mental, na to, condition na to. Kasi parang, seemed to verge on obsessive, I would have to say. But then again, I mean, each one of us has different ways of dealing with, I don't know, pain, diba? Or rejection. So I think that's his way of dealing with it. Pero yun nga, at some point, sinasabi ko na parang, girl, ayun ka na naman. Ano ba?
Meron pa bidet yung ginamit niya. Meron din bidet ginamit.
May bidet din, di ba? So parang, okay. So I guess there was some sort of dark humor there. I'm not really sure. If anyone knows, let me know. Or put it in the comments below. Wow.
Comments below, yeah.
But also, sorry, I remembered something as well. Yung plot development sa character development. One thing that I didn't really get and I wanted to highlight was si Kai, di ba, he realized na Third had feelings for him and then he decided na he wanted to let him down easy or parang he wanted Third to lose any affection for him. So parang he devised concocted this plan to get him to stop feeling the way he felt, di ba? So parang ang ginawa niya in the most asshole way possible is parang hinalikan niya, tapos pinaniwala niya na, di ba? At parang there was something, tapos mamaya he calls another person's name. So parang, parang really, was there no other way to do that? Couldn't you have just talked to him directly and said, there's nothing between us, I don't feel anything for you, but why do you have to do that, di ba? So parang, it was just very, yun nga, sabi ni Andrew and ni Patty kanina, parang, there was a point in time as well wherein you didn't like him, but then there was a scene, and we all know that particular scene where he was waiting at the train station. There's that particular scene wherein we all felt for him because now we felt his sincerity, and now we felt okay, parang he really is making an effort, diba? And you have to appreciate that. So that's when he turned for me and turned for the better. So yun, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikey.
Siguro ako ni Maya. Okay.
Oh, Mark, it's your turn.
So, ako na naman ata ang dakilang bakit. Sige, lang. Siguro kasi with the number of episodes that Tear of Love had, parang kasi they were so focused with the main characters nga, di ba? Kai and Third. And they were really successful in showing the story arc, the development of their characters, and it was so effective to the point that they managed and successfully did justice dun sa twists and turns ng perspectives ng story kasi they referenced the book and the movie na flip. So I think they were really successful in flipping the perspective natin sa other characters.
Yeah.
However, there were some characters kasi na I think medyo pilit yung I don't know, hindi ko lang masyado na feel. Medyo pilit yung story arc ng ibang characters, especially nga yun nga si Earth and si White.
Right.
Parang medyo needless na. Kasi parang, okay, so they have their own story arc, pero it doesn't add much to the whole
True,
plot of
true.
the whole story. Pero
Mm.
they really did a good job naman in showing the story arc and the complete storyline of Kai and Third. So in terms of character development, as we really look to the character development of Kai and Third. It's just that parang siguro they had too much time to
Okay.
battle
Yeah,
on
I
the
see, I
couple
see.
na. So they introduced parang so many things at a little span of time. Parang okay na si Kai and Third. Parang if they want to focus on Kai and Third, it should have been left as is. Whereas nag-introduce pa sila ng other characters and in turn medyo naging hindi lang siya 100% for me. Pero dun naman sa I really like yung referencing nila dun sa movies just like everybody else said.
Correct.
So
Of course.
Theory of Love is a series for kasi ako personally I really love movies. I really love indie art and everything. So it really hit the spot and hit the nail to stop on how they um on how they portray each scene, each episode, na parang once pinapakita nila kung ano yung movie na i-reference nila for this episode, you get excited. Since you know the movie, you kind of want it to, you kind of want to finish the episode. You're expecting something, which may be a good thing, which may be a bad thing, because there are some points that you expect. Sometimes naninil nila, sometimes medyo parang, okay, baka na-left out sa editing. But in the end, it's really a good story. It's parang, I can still watch it, even if it's not, even if it's not a BL series. Parang,
Right.
give it a perspective of a heteronormative na setting.
Okay.
You will
Okay.
still really watch it. That's
Yes.
how beautiful the story is and the
Yep.
plot.
Perfect. Okay. Sige.
Okay.
We'll read some of the comments na lang later, no? So I'll be the last person because you guys were able to like talk about the characters in detail. Siguro I'll take the perspective or standpoint of the crafting of the entire series. Ako talaga I'm totally a big fan of the theory of love. So while you guys were talking about mga gaps here and there, I'll talk about my appreciation for the theory because I did not expect that I will ever appreciate this. So, prior to watching Theory of Love, ang exposure ko talaga with the series starring by Manoj Gets, So2, Start Lucas. So, imagine ganun yung conditioning ko, no? And then, kasi meron akong parang sort of plan before I wrote my blog, no? Sabi ko, manonood ako ng 5 series before I can do some sort of blog para may reference ako. Pero ganun pala talaga sa BL, no? May mga sequel, prequel kasi. So nagtuloy-tuloy ako until end. No? So if to Ange,
Black
it's her
hole.
second, if to Ange, it's her second series, sa akin naman, ito yung pang 10th ko. So 10 at the moment kasi nakaka-12 na ako. So it was my 10th. So when I watched it, sabi ko, I wasn't expecting it. I was not really interested dun sa poster pa lang. Bakit? Sabi ni Mark parang hindi siya heteronormative na, alam mo yung good-looking guys, the typical BL, alam mo yun, parang faces, you see like God na how do you call this, short, diba? And then awful kind of tall, diba? Ganun. Parang ano ba? Sinong i-pair up dito? Hindi mo alam sa poster pa lang. So I wasn't really interested. What really drew me to the series was the title itself, Theory of Love. Bakit Theory of Love in the first place? And normally kasi, di ba, ang mga title ng mga BLs very straightforward like Together, di ba? O what's to really find out about Together? Maging together sila, di ba? Tharn Type, di ba? Parang series talaga, dalawang pangalan, di ba? So2 was kind of straightforward about this. But Theory of Love, kind of, sabi ko, anong meron dito? So I'll start from there. So before that, I'll just have some sort of a context. Diba lahat naman siguro tayo nag-thesis na in college, diba? Definitely. Then, ang laging sinasabi ng mga prof natin is, anong theory ang ipoprove mo? Diba? Or anong konsepto ang ipoprove mo? So you have to some sort of review of literature, basa-basa ka, and then you find a theory. So, putting that into context, I think dun ang galing appreciation ko of the theory of love. Why is that? Um, I really like the use of films as metaphor or imagery of the entire story. Bakit? Because technically, parang sinasabi niya overall kasi nakita ko, parang third was kind of looking for the concept of love. Kasi technically, ang mga pinapanood yung mga films were straight films, heteronormative. And he was trying to parang find meaning in these films. Hanap siya ng parang concept of love. But all these theories and concepts did not work really, no? Parang hindi niya na-apply. So, hindi niya na-prove at the end of the day. Pero di ba towards the end, parang may realization may sinasabi na kay na parang, uy, parang find your definition of love, no? And then towards the end, parang sabi ni Kai, I'm not in verbatim, parang sinabi lang, parang ito yung alam ko. Kung ito enough for you, I don't know what else is, di ba? Parang ganun. But to me, ang siguro dun sa plot development, I like the use of film to be able to explore yung pinagdadaanan ni Third, na parang he was trying to look for the concept of love, no? Na parang, ano ba talaga? How do I appreciate? How do I express this obsession about Guy? Diba? Wala nagsabi sa kanya But he tried his best by watching these films and then doing these things. Tumasayaw sa and everything, diba? So parang, sabi ko, ang ganda, ang talino, ang smart ng pagkakagawa, yung crafting ng film. What else? I like the story. Napaka-simple lang di ba? Unrequited love, ganyan, hindi masabi for 3 years, parang obsession about Kai and everything. Pero towards the end, biglang nagkaroon ng parang conflict here and there, ganyan. And then biglang lumabas na, no? Na nasabi niya at the end of the day, no? I like the crucial point. Sabi ko sa last series na review natin, parang I would be looking for that crucial point or element. Ang para sa akin, it was the train scene talaga. Parang it was the, how do you call this, the encapsulation. Yes, but it was the highlight. Kung wala yun, ay talaga parang pwedeng walang scene, okay? So, I like that fact because it was reconciliatory, no? May reconciliation, may understanding, may sort of clarity na nangyari doon, no? With the hug, with, alam mo yun, super, na-feel ko talaga yung scene na yun, no? In terms of character, I like the character development, specifically in Third. I will have to agree with you guys na dun sa unang episodes, medyo mabagal, medyo may parts na nakakaingit. But what I really like about the actor, characterizing the character, is that napaka-natural. I think pinatid or sinabi to ni Patty sa group chat natin no, na whenever actors act, kino-comport para lang mapakita ko yung yan. Diba? When na ganun para lumabas yung But with this actor, diba, si Gon, no, talagang namuto lang yung mata niya, he goes up, and then bigla na lang tumutuloy yung mukha niya, and you would feel it, parang, oh my gosh, I'm unexcited, no? And to me, that was more heartfelt. Napakasimple ng story, but because of the acting, di ba, parang nakita ko talaga yung pain niya, yung puot niya sa So, having said that, I think the mention ni Mark, no, parang it's not your typical heteronormative romance na, di ba, may top, bottom, ganyan, whatever. It was kind of unconventional na parang one was short, the other was tall. I mean, physically, no? Natin. Apart from that, I didn't see any chemistry. To be honest with you, hindi ko na-feel yung chemistry ng dalawa. Parang meron ba talaga?
Same.
Diba? Parang wala lang naman.
Same.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wala talaga. Parang hindi
The story was carrying the relationship more than the characters.
Right.
Characters themselves.
Exactly. So, ako parang sabi ko, 2 years ako, sabi ko, anong meron? I was trying to link the title, Theory of Love, to the lack of killing and chemistry. Bakit walang chemistry? And in my head, I'm like, oh, that makes sense because how do you call it? The unconventional love that they have shouldn't necessarily fit in a certain standard or concept. Kasi the concept is babae-lalaki, di ba? Yung napapanood lang natin sa mga heteronormative na films, di ba? And to me, parang it was beautifully crafted kasi it made sense at least to me, no? Kailangan pa talaga, alam mo yun, parang you have to dig deeper, no? At least ako as a reviewer or that's my perspective, no? So I find it really beautiful because parang it was well put together. Although may mga babagal na scenes, but towards the end kasi it all made sense to me, at least. Na parang, parang he was trying to look for references to explain love and how to express love. And towards the end, he was able to find an answer. So to me, sabi ko nga, it's not really theory of love it's actually experience of love diba? At the end, that's what the series really tries to do at the end of the day, no? So yun, so I super love the theory because number one, it was unexpected. And towards the end, parang bakit So doon ako natuwa sa film. Sa series. Parang it wasn't typical. It really heteronormative. It was unexpected to me. And the plot really was put together because of this film. Diba? So yun. Yun lang. That's from my end. Ang dami ko nang kinita.
Diba?
Yeah.
So, you said na parang it's not your typical BL in some sense, diba? Kasi, di ba, may send tayo ng team sa messenger group natin. Parang, ano kayang gagamitin ko dito sa BL na to? Tapos may specific options lang talaga na meron. Engineering, building, ganun, etc. So, I mean, I think they took a different track when they starred film majors, di ba? Kasi usually, number one course talaga is engineering. Or if it's not all of them engineering, it's majority of them engineering, or a main character is in engineering. So since this is a film, I think that's already a step out, diba? Para a different way of attacking it, no? And you mentioned yung mga references to movies, diba? Of how to explain, to demonstrate, or to express love. So one of the first scenes that I remember, or one of the first scenes doing that was yung sa Love Actually, di ba? Yung kinopya niya, yung he put his declaration of love on his white words, tapos fail. And then there was another sequence, because it referenced 10 Things I Hate About You. It's the field and then bleachers where it's Amazon. And 10 Things I Hate About You was Can't Take My Eyes of You. Right. Of course, it was a Thai song, right? So they referenced it. And then when they shopped the idea, and there was also a throwback to 500 Days of Summer, which basically meant, yung ginawa natin ngayon parang 500 Days of Summer, di ba? So I like that about this movie, kasi parang it makes their world bigger, I guess, as well. If they reference these films which are loved and parang very familiar to a lot of us. So yun, yeah, I like that about this.
Perfect. May mga nababasa akong comments sa ibang groups na parang straight girl, no? O lady siya, and she was like, relatable daw talaga sa kanya, no? So parang it was kind of encompassing siguro to her because probably ganun din yung sa show. It was resonating to her at the end of the day. So, let's read some comments. My comment, ayan, sila na siya kasi ES, sila talaga nagko-comment. And anyway, so shout out for them. So, sabi ni SC, that's one of the things I loved about the series. I just like So To Snow. Hindi super hot at Borta ang mga bida. Pero yung story kasi and how the moments are delivered, the audience grabe kilig niya. So I'd like to add something to this. No? Parang yung kilig niya kasi hindi siya yung kilig na, oh my God, ang cute, ang gwapo siya. Ganyan. It was a different kind of kilig. Parang, it's heartfelt, di ba?
Just like there are different kinds of love and different kinds of experiences, diba? So you can like different.
And since you made mention of different kinds of love, no, sabi ni Lance, no, to add to what I said, no, sabi niya, lumalabas nga different love languages ng tao, especially when Kai tried to court third, and it didn't match. So I think it goes beyond the kumbaga yung fix or yung fit ng BL, no, concept ng BL natin, no.
I mean, you can easily replace the characters with straight ones or other, people, and it would still be a story.
Right. Uy, grabe gusto ko may interaction with the viewers. May mahaba yung review natin.
Go lang, ST. Go
It's
lang.
okay. We appreciate additional inputs.
So thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, so let's go now to so we're done with plot and character development. No? I'll have to agree with each of you actually. Wala akong podcasting idea with what you shared. Siguro andun lang ako towards the end. I was more of the appreciator of the series, but I will definitely agree with you in terms of the character and the plot. No? I made also of the side character, yung dalawa, no? Yung si Tu and si Beyond, parang weird yung build up. Parang totoo, yun na yun. Parang nakulang, hindi na develop sayang have been an opportunity sana, no? Okay, so let's have the next question that we need to answer, no? What's the message of the series to you? Yan. Ano yung impact sa'yo?
Siguro na-mention ko na rin kanina. I guess, you just have to strike a balance, I guess, with how much you're willing, how far you're willing to go, and what you're willing to give up, and what you're willing to sacrifice if you really love the person. And if you do, and it's the right time, and you feel that moment, you go for it. I mean, if you don't know if that person will love you back.
Yes.
If you are, parang if you don't, parang, nagkaroon sila ng conversations in the house, diba? Parang they
Yes.
watched this film, and then Kai said something like, ano ba yan, yung babae, sasabihin niya lang naman na mahal yung guy. Diba? Kung hindi niya sasabihin, yung guy. Tapos
Right.
sabi ni Third, well, baka natatakot kasi siya na, di ba, masisira yung friendship nila, ganun.
Yeah.
Sabi, may pa yung chance na magkakatuluyan sila pag sinabi niya. Ganon. So, I guess that's basically what Kai did eh. Parang, he didn't know whether Third was going to split the love that he was going to give, but he needed to do it anyways because
Right.
that's how he felt na eh. Parang there was no going back. It was only forward. So,
Yep.
keep moving forward. Love. Yes.
Yes, I'll go next. Kasi parang in relation to what Mike said, it's very short lang talaga. Parang to me kasi, like you made mention of going with the flow eh. You know? So to me kasi parang there's no really theory of love eh. There's no concept or strict, rigid concept of love. It's up to you to define love at the end of the day. You know? So you go with the flow. Like for the LGBT especially, you know? Happy Pride pala. Ayan. The last one.
Yes.
So, parang nobody told the LGBT how to love at the end of the day, di ba? Parang we read through novels and we saw films and everything, but nobody told us how to behave in such a way. Kasi very heteronormative society. So to me, it's not really a theory of love, it's experience of love, di ba? And then, siguro some of us may have had like experiences sa mga relationships before, parang iba-iba yung mga relationship eh, no? So I think you just have to go with it eh, di ba? You don't really have to be that scared. Just go on with it and then try to feel kung kaya mo ba or hindi, di ba? So yun. Yun lang, that's from me.
Ayan.
Okay, sige, ako naman, I'll go next. Siguro what I realized about the show is parang I saw the factor or parang how time can really influence a relationship. Na parang time is really important and you really should strike the iron at the right time because time at some point really played with all the characters. For some, it caused them to wait, and then for some, it caused them rejection, and then for some, parang ng confusion, diba? Yung iba naghintay 3 years, si 2 naghintay girl na buong high school life niya, elementary life. Diba? And for some, it worked. For some, it didn't. Diba? Like for Bone, diba, na he fell in love with the wrong time, na meron na pala siyang fiancé. So at the end of the day, just take risks, diba? Because you don't know if the actual time is on your hands.
The opportunity will pass you by.
Yes.
It's another. Uy, may comment din si Lance. Later, basahin natin.
Sige.
Okay, sige.
Next.
Ako, I'll go next.
Go ahead.
Siguro sa the message na nakuha ko while watching Theory of Love is actually love is not something that is constant. Parang we have our own experiences with love. We have our own truths about love. We have our own theories of our own interpretation and inspiration of love. It's just that yung Theory of Love is very successful in showing those truths. Parang there's no one truth to define how each person loves one another. Each person expresses his or her own form of love. Kasi kaya nga nag-comment earlier na we have our own languages of love. So
Yes.
sometimes it match, sometimes it doesn't. Yun nga eh, kasi parang love is, kasi ako din, personally, hindi ako masyadong naniniwala din sa parang you should only go to a certain extent of embracing and martyrdom of toxicity ng love.
Right.
Kasi parang love is a feeling. It's something that you just have to find someone na worth, you see as worth it, na ma-experience mo yung all kinds of, be it pain, happiness, or whatsoever. Parang just have to find someone na willing ka to experience all those things, and at the same time, you should also love yourself. So kasi feeling
Right.
ko kasi
Yes.
theory of love is not only expressing love for other people but also expressing love for yourself. Especially nung nag-flip na yung perspective when si Dom na yung pinili niyang i-love naman niya yung sarili niya kasi nandun na siya sa certain point na na-extend na niya yung PC niya in so to speak,
Right.
na kung hanggang saan lang niya kayang i-express and paghintay dun sa love ni Off. But yun nga, ang nangyari naman is na-reverse naman yung messaging where Off naman yung naka-experience na ang love pala for him is someone na nandyan lang, hindi niya ina-expect but nandyan pala sa paligid niya. So it's very successful in telling the story na we have our own stories about love, we have our own perspectives, we have our own meaning that we put to it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we have our own truth. So we should not invalidate other people
Yes.
on how they express love for their chosen people.
I like that. Snaps for Mark. Gustong-gusto ko yun. Gustong-gusto ko yun.
Yes.
Okay,
We can just read.
Okay.
Yes.
Go.
Sige, can I just read yung sinabi ni Lance?
Sige. Post ka
He
ba?
mentioned the message that I got is love is transcending, love is unconventional, love isn't always the typical love story that we see. So love is something we choose. Sabi nga ni Nico dati, it is an existential decision. Totoo, di ba?
Yeah.
So just because, parang you don't know or you can't understand that type of love, but still, love is love. So, and love should always win. That's it.
Right.
Thank you.
I love
Hashtag. Comment down below if you agree. Hashtag love wins.
Yes.
Yes, ladies.
Okay, ako naman. I think yung message for me kasi parang two perspective siya. So, sa perspective ka, parang, parang quotable quote. Parang people, parang never really change, but sometimes, love can change you. Parang ganun yung sa perspective niya. I love how I really went from a total jackass to someone who is very parang medyo patient, caring, and considerate of thirds feelings.
Right.
Parang maganda yung transition na, ito pala yung person to, he was just there all along, and then,
Yep.
yun. And then for third perspective naman, it's parang love yourself first. Ang
Okay.
ganda kasi parang opposite yung direction nila, pero in the end, parang it's not I agree that it's not your typical love story, pero in the end, parang nag-meet pa rin siya kahit parang yung transition ng character nila is the opposite. And then, you try to parang balance it out in the end. So, there.
Uy, gusto ko yung sinabi ni Ange, pero dadagdagan ko yan sa quality next na category natin. Babalikan kita dyan, Ange. Yung sabi parang opposite direction. Alright, thank you so much, Ange. P. Patty.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so for me, very quick lang. Theory of love shows different kinds of love, but parang it's different for everyone. You just have to find someone worth sharing it with, or
Right,
it's more
right.
of how do you share it, or self-love din naman. So also another thing, people can change, just like
Right.
how Kai changed throughout the series. So as I've mentioned earlier, we saw yung transition niya from being an asshole to being
Yeah.
someone who started caring for people around him. And ang ganda no, for me, ang ganda nung development ng character ni Kai, and I really appreciated it, especially nung mga last few episodes.
Yeah.
So yun.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Patty. Let's probably read some comments. So let's read.
May background music pa tayo dyan. May
Oh,
nire-request.
sorry na pala sila, Mark, no? Super Christian. Sabi naman ni Elsie, parang for me, what I got from the series, hindi na makita sila sa baba. For me, what I got from the series is dapat when you fall in love, alam mo dapat kung hanggang saan ka lang. Okay. Sometimes you have to stop chasing someone to be loved and just focus on yourself. Sabi nila Patty, no, nila Mark, nila Ange, yourself, and eventually maybe just maybe, no, someone, no, may pinaghuhugutan, no, someone that
Oo
you
nga.
okay.
Just maybe.
Based on personal experience. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so
and
much.
to add to and to add to what Ange said, love can change you from being a playboy to a gay boy.
Yeah.
Why not?
Grabe. Actually, okay.
I think for these two main characters, di ba? Nangyari yun. Kay
Oo.
Third, kay Kaya at kay Two.
Yes. Right. Pero grabe, no? Grabe yung overall, parang lyrical lang ng series na compared to the other BL series, no? Parang ang dami mong pwedeng mahanap in that series, eh, 'di ba? Ang dami mong interpretations na pwedeng gawin, eh, 'di ba? It's really an open-ended series, eh. 'Di ba? Okay, so let's have, wala na si Patty, but let's have her follow up siguro, no? Catch up muna. Wait. Nawala yung mouse ko.
And just to add to what you said, I mean, the perspectives we get are essentially from our own experiences, diba? Kasi yun yung nagiging natin lens to put our perspective on things. It's really what we've experienced, what we've encountered, what we've gone through. So, syempre, iba-iba rin yun kasi iba-iba yung mga pinagdadaanan.
That's right. Okay, so let's have the last part. So before we do our rating, or we have our rating, here's the last question. Ayan. So I'll go first na lang para hindi ko na mabitawan yung sinabi ni Ange kanina, no? So in terms of the quality of the series, you can make mention of the mga soundtrack, mga OS no sa inyo na yun. But I will go to that particular scene, which is the train scene. Okay. So sabi kita ni Ange kanina, magkaiba ng direction, di ba? And then biglang somewhere in the middle, biglang reverse yung direction. Okay. If you notice, the train scene, this is very metaphorical and this is just my interpretation. I might be wrong. But di ba sabi ko nga parang baka sa mga authors, it just meant that, no? Pag blue ang curtain. Pero minsan tayo, we tend to interpret beyond it, di ba? Na parang, it means sadness and loneliness. Di ba? Yeah, so, yung train na yan, that actually meant so much. Why? Di ba? It had 2 tracks. Dalawang train, di ba?
Yes.
Dalawa. One train was going that way, and then the other one was going this way. But in that scene, they were in the middle, and it was reconciliatory, eh. Di ba walang sumakay ng tren? Parang to me, it meant something. And that to me, that was a beautiful scene in terms of framing and then shots. And then yung conversation nila, parang onti lang ang sinasabi nila, parang why? Bakit ka pala dito? Tapos nag-iyakan na sila. And then that meant reconciliation. And then it was very metaphorical. That image itself meant so much. Because, di ba, walang tren na tumatakbo, umalis na yung tren, but they were both in the middle. They were both reconciliatory, in agreement, in understanding. So yun lang, from my end, in terms of quality. Ang ganda ng mga shots, talagang, alam mo yun, sabi ko like before, parang talagang they stayed true to the theme, or to the theme of the series film kasi. So, dapat gagandahan yung mga shots, no? Yung mga rule of thirds here and there, diba? Parang
symmetry, gano'n.
Golden ratio.
Ano, Mark?
Mga golden ratio, ganyan.
Yes! super cute talaga ng pagkakagawa. Kaya sabi ko, talaga, mapapahiya sila doon pag ang pangit, biglang film major sila, diba? Sa kwento. Yun lang for me.
Ako naman, sunod na ako. So, I agree with Nico, di ba? Parang, meron talagang mga shots na. Yung isa naman na scene na remember ko is parang medyo nagwawallow na naman si Third, no? It's parang he was sitting on the floor and he was sitting across from this wall which had 2 fluorescent lights that were in of an X. And he was feeling really down at the moment. So parang for me, parang, okay, so mag-give up na ba siya? X ba? Right. Ini-X niya na yung sarili niya. Alam mo yun? Yung parang dinadown niya na ba? Parang canceled na ba siya? Ganon.
Yeah.
So parang, may mga visual, I don't know, maybe I'm just over-interpreting it. Yung mga visual na cues na ganon, parang it makes you think na parang, mukhang pinag-isipan yung pag-shot nito, di ba? Mukhang pinag-isipan yung setup nito. And I think that's something that we can expect, or we've come to expect from GMMTV. I mean, the
Yeah.
quality of their series, sasabihin ko sana films, the quality of they're actually really, really good. And I think the highlight pa even more in this particular series. I also remember, nagkaroon ng flashback scenes wherein they first met and they had these things on
Yeah.
their, they were looking for.
Okay.
So parang
Right.
when they transitioned to that scene, um, parang if you watch it again, nagta-transition ng ganun yung shot, di ba? And then
Yes.
film strip siya.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
Ano yun?
Exactly.
Film
Oo.
strip siya. So parang talagang in-embed nila yung film at saka slash movie theme throughout everything. Pinag-isipan talaga
Everything.
nila. So parang, tas yun nga, yung mga references to movies, there were some scenes na ginaya talaga, parang lifted talaga from the movies themselves. Tapos, I think si Lance, he mentioned this earlier as well. Na parang not the main, but the favorite movie of Third is Flipped. And
Yes.
I think that if he mentioned it na parang ganun din yung nangyari dito sa series na to eh. Nag-flip eh. Kasi initially, it was Third who was chasing and then nag-flip, si Kaina yung nag-chase. So alam mo yun, parang they also tied that in there. Diba? So, ang galing lang talaga. So I thought that it was really well made and it was well put together. There were some things that could have been improved, like everyone mentioned. But overall, I think the quality was really, really good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Ako naman, siguro in terms of the acting, despite not liking the characters at first, I really commend of Ed Gun for doing such a great job in terms of acting. Actually, for me, the best dramatic scenes out of the BS I've watched so far are in Theory of Love. Kasi
Oy.
it's not overdone and then natural lang siya. So, yung naman ko kanina yung train scene, so yun, favorite ko yun. And then, during the play when Kai confessed, ayun, for me, it was also good yung scene na yun. And then sa kanila ko lang nakikita yung isang mata lang yung lumuluha.
Yes!
And I got
Yes.
I during that scene as well. And for me, God is actually the second best BL actor. First ko kasi na nasa Southern type, supporting character doon. Pero for next year, hindi na lang siya. So, yeah. I really like the acting of the two. But then, sorry, medyo okay ko lang din yung acting ng side characters. Hindi ako sold dun sa side characters na acting naman. Especially shucks, I actually forgot her name eh. Pero when, lagi ko kasi ka-chat si Patty while I'm watching Theory of Love. Parang, nasa Sotos din siya. I forgot her name.
Yes.
Lynn. Si Lynn.
Yes, si Lynn sa Sotos. Oh my God. Sabi ko, ito na una yung Sotos, di ba? Tapos Theory of Love. Sabi ko, shucks, walang nag-improvement sa acting niya. No? Sorry!
Twice pa siya na-reject. Na-reject na siya sa Sotos, na-reject pa siya sa Theory of Love.
Kaya ganyan siya. Alam niyo nangyayari.
Yun lang. Yun lang yung side comment ko. May ma-okray lang ako sa acting.
Wait. May naalala rin pala ako. So, not really on the quality. It's just a minor thing. Pero, kasi minention niya okra eh. I remembered, there are scenes or there are moments wherein parang, ang pula ng labi nila.
Yes.
Parang, seriously, are they putting on more lipstick? Diba? Kasi parang it's very distracting. Why is it so red? Why is it so plum? Mga ganun bagay.
Correct.
I mean, it's just a minor thing, but yeah, I remembered it. Yun.
Feeling ko baka kasi dahil they increase the saturation of the film in general.
Siguro.
The colors are intense.
Si Atengan, malipit
malagkit lagi yung lips niya. Malagkit lagi.
Bird's bees, ganun.
Correct. But I'll go next. Speaking of the acting, since Ange talked about the acting, I super duper love the kissing of Off and Gun. In fairness, I have no complaints about their kiss.
Actually, yung kiss din, I think yung favorite ko sa mga nawat. Na BL.
they're not awkward. There were no inhibitions. The kiss was so
Natural, yeah.
real. It was so believable. As in, parang sila talaga.
That's
Parang
true.
Right.
Tommy
That's
and
But
true.
that's
Eddie
weird,
talaga
no?
sila.
Kasi kanina parang we agreed na hindi masyado yung chemistry nila. Pero pagdating sa kiss scene, nakakilig sila.
Yes!
Oo.
Super,
Parang
super. I was also shocked when they kissed kasi parang they were really, as in,
Parang wala eh,
so
no?
believable. As in, they were really so believable.
Yeah.
Yun. Tapos I'll also comment on the set choices. Parang feeling ko, Theory of Love is probably the series where I have the best or parang best selections of locations in a shoot. Diba? Even in the
I agree.
Yes,
simple
so far.
locations, diba?
Yeah.
Like the rooms, the styling was amazing. You can see the
True.
May budget
personalities.
sila. Mas may
Diba?
budget.
Totoo.
Ganda ng
Diba?
room.
You can see the personalities of the people through the styling.
Super.
Diba? Even if mess yung room ni Po, you can see that it was actually kind of
Hipster.
deliberately.
Right.
Diba? Diba? And even to the other locations outside the rooms, I super
Okay.
duper love the
Cafe. I love the cafe.
cafe.
Yeah.
Diba? The
Mm.
warehouse that they converted into a cafe. Even the bar, diba? The all bricks bar. It was also nice for me.
Ganda.
Even the scenes in the school, they chose the right spots in the school, the balcony, the amphitheater. They were all nice, and of course, most especially the beach and the train station, even the train, even if it was super
Yes.
character train, diba? It was still nice. You actually appreciated what it is, and because of the seat, the scene, or like the set selections per scene, it actually makes you want to go to Thailand, diba? It makes you want to travel there.
Yes.
Diba?
Agree.
Na parang when you see the train station, parang you wanna go there, parang it's this place. And even the street foods, diba? Na parang even if they eat in the carinderia, the pictures are so nice beside the street, diba? And it also makes you want to go to Thailand and explore there.
True. True.
True.
I agree.
Yeah.
True.
So punta na tayo ng Thailand for the next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yan lang for me.
Crickets.
Okay.
Patty.
Okay. So ako naman, I'd like to comment on the OST. I
Okay.
actually loved yung fake protagonist by Getsunova. Ang
Yes,
galing. Like, every time na umiiyak si Gun, sobrang on cue yun. Sobrang pasok na pasok. Ang galing talaga. I loved it. Kaya lang sana, no, they were given the chance to parang record the version of their own. Ang ganda. Kasi like, like, they knew they had no definition. Tapos, sana they had the chance to record their own. So, ang ganda lang kasi. Tapos, ayun, I would also like to comment on, yun, kanina nabanggit na to, yung acting. So, si Gon talaga ang galing. On point din siyang umiyak. Tapos, yun nga, kung gusto mo isang mata lang luha, iiyak siya. Ang galing. Pero hindi rin nagpapahuli si Off. Ang ganda nung scene nila talaga sa train station.
Oo.
Ang galing. Ang ganda nung, ang ganda nung parang batuhan ng iyak nila. Ang galing.
Yes.
Yun. Tapos, can I also comment on yung OBB? Natuwa din ako sa OBB niya. Hindi siya kasing dramatic ng Dark Blue Kiss.
Okay.
Pero, diba, ang ganda lang. Ang ganda.
And
Yeah,
even the audio
ganda.
during the OBB, it was also nice. Parang it made you feel
Yeah,
like you're
so
in
far,
a prenup video.
Oh.
Ay, oo.
Si Mark yata hindi.
Ayan.
Go, Mark.
Ako na naman. Hello, mga kaibigan.
Hi, Ma.
Go, Mark.
Actually, there are so many things that I applaud naman for, especially if we're talking about the quality of the series. First and foremost, kasi nag-start yung series na si Gun at the center of the frame. Na parang he seems like he's talking to himself, but actually he's talking to the camera.
Okay.
So parang very reminiscent of me na parang I thought na I got the impression na Gun was actually talking to himself, but he wants to talk to someone else to listen to him. So yun yung nakikita dun sa setup na yun. And at the same time, since he is at the center of the frame, so nakuha ko na parang it should really focus on him. So it's yung camera direction, the angles were really well thought of. especially yun nga, as mentioned earlier, is yung sa train scene. It's very effective. I also want to commend and comment on the acting, no? Kasi especially yun nga, since the perspective of the characters nag-flip, 'di ba? Sa bandang middle ng series. So nakita natin na at first sobrang vulnerable tignan ni Gunn.
Yeah.
Tapos nung nag-flip na yung story nilang dalawa ni Off, nakita naman natin na si Off naman yung parang medyo ano kasi siya, medyo smug tignan nung una. Na parang, ano ba, nakakainis ka tignan. Pero,
Pati yung voice niya annoying. I hated him talaga nung una.
Pero nung...
Actually, even Sotos, gano'n na yung ano niya, image niya.
Oo. Yeah. Pero nung nag-flip na yung story nilang dalawa, na parang, hala, kaya niya rin palang maging ganun ka-vulnerable, tignan.
Galing.
The nuances sa eyes, sa iyak, sa hinga, kasi minsan naririnig yung hinga, na parang,
yes, actually,
small things, pero it really adds to the effect of their acting. So I really commend them for that. Next naman is yung, there are so many scenes kasi na medyo cluttered yung background. Especially yung sa room, di ba, puro props, paraphernalia, books or films or whatsoever na nandun sa likod. Pero ang ganda ng set direction na kahit cluttered yung background and everything, parang madadraw talaga yung attention mo dun sa characters.
True.
And at the same time, yun nga, na-mention kanina yung soundtrack. Ang ganda ng pasok. Parang suabe. Parang kapag
Yes, suabe.
Yes. Pag napifeel mo na yung luha ko, nandyan na. Tapos biglang papasok yung song na parang wala ka na yung choice.
Talaga.
So yun, parang ano lang. Pero ayun nga, kagaya nga ni P. Ange kanina, meron siyang awkward ng concept. Yun lang, parang sige, positive. So, i-include natin lahat ng okay. So, one positive thing din is yung culture nila on film. Kasi napakita din sa series na meron silang yung outside na theater. Tapos meron din silang film rental sa coffee shop na parang it's very relatable for indie artists yes. out there. Na parang it's very true. It happens. It really happens.
Right.
So parang ang ganda nung yung inisipan nila ng way on how to portray yung scenes and everything with the set direction, with the locations and everything. So ang ganda-ganda nun. Pero eto na nga, may okay din po ako mga kaibigan.
Sige lang.
Yung ano lang, well na-mention ka na kanina na medyo pilit, parang rushed, half-baked yung story ni Earth and ni White. Yeah. Pero isa pa yung siguro kasi gustong-gusto ng mga tao yung finale, 'di ba? Yung sa theater. It's really good. It's really a good scene. It's that medyo distracting lang for me yung siguro ganun yung setup ng location. Pero medyo distracting lang for me yung lights na parang where will I look? Kasi parang ang direct ng light kay Off. Tapos direct din yung light kay Gun. So parang okay, sige, sa kanila ako titingin. Pero pag nagpapan yung camera, direct din yung light dun sa iba, direct din yung light sa other characters. So parang okay. So very small and minor details lang. And also yung na-mention ni P. Mike kanina na yung ampulan ng lips nila. Pero yeah, minor. Very minor details.
Wait, I forgot. I also would like to comment na mataas ang budget nila in buying sleep bags.
Wait, true.
Yes.
Because in fairness, I noticed that si Tu is always wearing a Givenchy bag. And then si Kai naman is the only gangster that I saw with a Chanel bag. And a Goyard bag.
Oh my God.
Diba? Malaki yung budget nila sa props.
Pero a lot of these CL characters, if you think about it, yung mga napapanood natin, a lot of them are not really middle class. Parang they're more upper class. Diba? Yeah. For example, may mga BMW sila, and then yung mga yung mga accessories nila, yung mga damit nila, yung mga coaches nila. So, yeah, comes to the territory, I guess.
Okay, so we are now down to our rating. But before that, magbasa muna tayo ng mga comments from our viewers, no? Dalawa lang naman sila nag-comment.
Yes.
Okay, sige. Sige, you can read through the comments, no? Pili tayo ng comments siguro. Ito na siguro kay Lance first. In terms of interpreting some scenes, and natabunan na naman sila, sila Mark. Okay.
Kamay-kamay.
Alright. Siguro, Mark can probably read the comment. Nababasa mo, Mark?
Nasa screen.
Ayan, he said, actually napansin ko yon. My eyes were open kasi they set the note. These are film majors, not your typical engineering. While ako, I interpreted the crying in the shower and third. This is way of healing, like how they use water in their religion to heal and cleanse. Correct.
Pwede,
Diba, after each time he does that, parang kaya niya ulit.
Dapat ulit.
So, good symbolization.
Hey.
Pwede, no? Yeah.
Perspective on things.
So that's the beauty of the series, no? You get to go beyond what you see there. Don't interpret it literally. In relation to the red lips, sabi naman ni SC, ayan. I think red lips is part of the audition. Pag di daw ko lalapi mo, di ka pwede sa role. Charet. All right. So before we end our review, let's now rate the series. Yan, 1 to 10. Ranking the highest in terms of ano ba yung happiness or kilig rating natin. Sige, I'll start na lang. Kasi para mabilis yung progression to eh. I'll have to give it a 10. Kasi 10 talaga ako.
I knew it.
Siguro, parang hindi ako kinilig. I have to be honest. I didn't see chemistry at the very beginning. Towards the end, doon ako hindi pa yung level ng Pero I like the crafting. I like the fact that it was interpreted in different ways. It's very lyrical and metaphorical, no? Parang, I like it because it's very smart. And sabi nga ni Maya kanina, ang ganda ng setting eh. Parang gusto mong pumunta na talaga ng Thailand eh. So, it was really a happy series for me. I'll give it a 9. Yun.
All right, so I go next. I'm actually that's a big word. Thinking about 8 or 9, pero I'm gonna go with a 9 because of everything that everyone else mentioned. No? Kasi just like Nico, parang I didn't feel the chemistry. I didn't really feel like parang kinilig. But then because of what we talked about, no, maybe ganun lang talaga yung characterization nila. Maybe maybe it's a direction, maybe it's a whole lot of other things. So I took my perspective na lang from how the story was laid out and how the series was crafted. And there were a lot of really, really good things. And when they were good, it was really great. Diba? And when they were bad, it wasn't that bad. Ano ba yun? So for me, all of the elements were tied together really well. I mean, I really liked the movie theme of this entire thing. I think it broke some BL barrier there by doing that. I think that it also broke the norm and it started film majors per se. And I really like how the thing was turned. I like how the characters changed. Diba? So, and I also like how the main characters were supported by the supporting characters.
Right.
So, So,
okay.
That's it.
Okay. Sino next?
Maya.
Okay.
Ako na next. Sige.
Sige, go Patty.
Patty.
Go, Ate Paps.
Sige, wait lang. So I'll give it a 9. Okay, so I'll give it a 9 simply because if we're gonna base it with the happiness or the kilig meter kasi, hindi ako masyadong kinilig sa una. And I was really at the brink of, itutuloy ko ba to or hindi. But as the story progressed, natuwa naman ako sa kanya. Nakabawi naman siya, especially the latter parts. And yun nga, kahit hindi naman natin nakita yung chemistry ng Off-Gun, they're really good actors, let's admit it. And I think that really contributed to how I perceive the series. So it's a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sino next?
Okay, ako na.
Maya.
I will rate it a 7.
Go.
Kasi I felt parang more confused and more impatient, more angry than I was
Okay.
happy and kilig all throughout the show.
Right.
Na parang yes, it really did end on a high note, on a very kilig note at the end. But the journey going there was too much for me to process. Because I feel that parang the personalities and the behavior of the people and the way they acted were like on extreme sides of the spectrum. Na parang it did not seem usual, the reality for me anymore. Na parang all of their actions are like so monumental with each other. And even the way they pined for each other was like so monumental. Na for me, na parang, sorry, it lacked realness. That's why I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
Sige, ako naman. Ako 7.5.
5.5. Happy, happy.
I mentioned kanina, I didn't like actually at first. So parang siguro yung rating ko ng 1 to 6 lang is just 5. Kasi parang nainis lang ako. But then, um, when I watched again nga, I like the progression, I like the acting, and then, I really like yung last episode. So I added 2 more points, naging 7 siya. And then when we were talking about the quality of the shots and everything that
Correct.
dinagdagan ko ng 0.5.
Okay.
Correct. Oo. Kaya din sa akin nag-increase to 7 because of the quality. It's really the quality of the series that I like. The craftsmanship as in.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the best I watched so far. So, kung happiness kasi, well, super happy ako nung nasa ending na. Parang sobrang opposite talaga siya nung feelings ko nung together. As in, parang inis na inis ako. Pero ay, ang ganda nung ending. So, yun.
Right.
It's 7.5 for me.
Okay. Ang galing, no? Iba-iba talaga yung ano natin. No?
Ako naman, siguro, kasi before na tayo mag-live tonight, no, I was really thinking din, ano nga bang happiness or kilig rating? Kasi hindi rin ako kinikilig.
Right.
Pero sige, I'll rate na lang the series as it is.
Overall.
All throughout, lahat ng talking points natin earlier. Siguro, before mag-start tong live natin, I kind of pencil rated na 7. Kasi
Okay.
parang pili ko, although sige, at first medyo dragging kasi siya, medyo nakakapagod panoorin, medyo yun nga, nakatagal, everything. Pero kasi siguro the reason why nada-drag din, not so draggish for me kasi I was looking for a BL story. I was looking for a boys BL story.
Right.
Kasi since I watched the Theory of Love after I watched Together, so to start to kiss, so parang nandun yung expectation ko na kilig love story. Pero while listening to everyone kanina, na-realize ko na it's not a typical BL story, but it's a story of experience. Kasi I cannot count it as a love story kasi although may love element, pero it's an experience of two people who found love. So I'm looking more into their experience more than dun sa kung nakakakilig ba sila or whatsoever. Although nakakakilig naman sila somehow sa dulo. Pero yun. So,
somehow sa dulo.
Pero ayun na.
Humabol yung kakiligan sa dulo.
Oo, yun yung
Sa dulo. But if I'll base it lang dun sa how happy I am while watching it, really a flat 7 for me. Pero if how happy I am na napanood ko siya, I'll give it an 8 or 8.5.
Okay.
So may 0.5. So siguro all in all, I'll rate it at 8.5 for the reasons na first, I consider it as a postmodern series because of it took a different route compared to others, and at the same time they gave elements dun sa story na hindi ko nakita sa other BL stories. Especially na, yun nga, as I said earlier, na hindi ko hinanap yung couple as parang the main element of what the series is about. Pero nakita ko yung story nila more than the characters. Siguro yun din, kaya hindi ako masyadong drawn with off and on personally. But more of drawn ako kay Kai and Third. Siguro last week, nasabi ko na drawn ako kay Sarawat and Kai. Ay, mas drawn ako kay Bright and Win more than Sarawat and Kai. Siguro dito, mas drawn ako kay Kai and Third.
Okay, interesting.
So,
Wait,
ayun.
nakakatuwa yung review natin because again, we're coming from different backgrounds and iba-iba, no? Kumbaga yung permutation ng interpretation natin and the experience natin with the series is totally different. No? It's really nice because we are representative of the viewers out there. No? Probably may nag-agree with each of us. May iba naman parang, ano itong kontrabida itong baklang to. Okay?
Sino yung kontrabida na bakla? Sino?
Charot lang. Okay. Joke lang. So, the overall rating that we're giving for the Theory of Love series is 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Wait, I think
Will we round it off or will we really say 8.5?
Ngayon,
nag-weigh in rin yung dalawa natin. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just gonna pick. So siguro from Lance.
Sige, go. Which one?
8:24 p.m. He mentioned, actually, I like how they transition or tell the story ng supporting love stories. Swabe siya. It's not like a completely separate scene na walang connect sa previous scene. Tapos, I think ST, is this your rating, ST? He said it's an 8 for me.
Yeah,
so may score din siya. Yeah. Tapos, si Lance naman.
It's an 8. Oh, let's average it out with 10, 10, 10 across the board. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's average it out with them. Let's average it out with them since they joined us all throughout.
Sige, sama sila.
May BBS rating.
yes.
BBS plus guests rating.
Correct. So, ano to, 10 plus 8? Silang dalawa lang, i-average natin.
Silang dalawa.
Yes.
Yeah, including yung sa atin.
With us, with the 6 of us.
Kasama tayo.
10 across the board, not because of the kilig, but the series was well crafted and left me with answers on my own. Ayun, nabigyan siya ng
Series of
mga
Love.
I love that.
katanungan niya.
Wala na ako sa rating ko. Plus, ano to? Sino kay Lance is 10.
10 plus 8.
Plus 8. Divided by... It's 8.56. Ganun din.
Ayun. So, very similar.
So it's 8.
Wait,
If
by
we
the way,
round it off.
I think
8 na
shoutout
siya,
din
no? Sige, go.
si ST, 8:35 p.m. He mentioned,
35. Yes. Ito?
so this live discussion made me realize na hindi nga yata primary aim ng DL na to,
Ay.
but to teach us to accept both the good and bad elements of love. Feeling ko lang naman. Feeling ako.
Tama ka dyan.
All feelings are good. That's okay.
Yeah.
All feelings are valid.
All feelings are valid. Yes.
Right.
And I think there's a question from
Yes.
ST, 8:30 p.m. Anong next series natin for next week?
Okay. Ilalabas ba natin?
Yes.
Okay. Ang next natin ay, drum roll please, it's...
Walpak ako. Tingin. Soto!
Yay.
Okay.
And we're focusing on Sotos only. Not
Sotos only.
Ayun.
Yes.
Na-pressure ako eh.
Ano na?
Hindi ko ba napanood yung Sotos eh?
Sige. Pag lahat tayo nakapanood na, diba? Pag lahat na tayo nakapanood, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so that's going to be our review next. Yes.
sorry. Nabasa ko lang yung ni ST comment. Sinabi niya, isama niya kami sa competition.
Yeah. Na-excite siya, OMG now.
I think that's great.
Right. Okay, so please tune in, ST and then Lance for our next review. I hope that you were able to pick up something from us today. Diba? Sorry.
We can do something from them as well.
Right. So, to the viewers and yung nanood ng review namin, thank you so much. I hope that you were able to appreciate what we've shared here. Guys, do you have last thoughts?
Siguro for me, I'd really like to thank everyone who's watching right now. And for those who are not watching it, thank you as well. Please continue
Right.
to support us. I also want to mention at this point, before I forget, na we reached more than 100 likes to our page. So for those of you who did that, thank you so much for liking the page. And I'm looking right now at the dream date. Oh my God, I moved right. I'm looking at the dream date post, and currently it's hitting or it's reached 26,500 friends who
Wow.
are sharing that and are having fun with it. Thank you so much. Please share it, and if you want to maybe, um, weigh in as well on this particular series, make sure that you give us a comment. We would like to hear from you. We'd like to hear your perspective on things. And again, if you disagree with us, that's absolutely fine. We don't necessarily agree on everything as well because we are different people. We have different ways of seeing things. We have different lenses that we're using to look at the series and life in general. So we appreciate all of your comments. We appreciate all of your feedback. And we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much, everyone.
And then
Thank you.
for next week siguro, Mike, no, if some of the viewers would chat siguro, we might actually invite them to join us in the room.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
us. Let's
So gagawin,
let us.
gagawin natin siya next week.
Let's
So to all,
expand the love for BL.
yes, of
BL is
course.
for all.
So
Yeah.
if they have questions that they'd like to discuss with us, pwede po sila i-Samsung by next week. Exciting! Yay!
Yes. Any other thoughts, guys?
Yay!
Good ka.
Tapos na.
Yay!
Tapos na.
Alright, well,
Thank you.
kapo na.
Tapos na ka. Thank you so much. Until
Thank
next
you,
review.
everyone. Happy
Bye-bye.
Friday. Enjoy
Happy
the
Friday.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy weekend. Happy Friday.